Burley asked Alessander if she had any healing potions. Alessander told him she had 2 of them. Burley thought about it and decided he would take the healing potions from Alessander and treat Porta while Alessander fought the monster. When Burley requested the healing potions from Alessander, she shook his hand and told him that she would treat Porta and that he should handle the monster, which surprised Burley. He said, "You have reversed our roles." Then the monster attacked Burley, but he dodged its attack. He said, "If I have no other option," and prepared to confront the monster. After that, Burley continued to defend against the monster's blows and aimed a strike at it, but it didn't affect the monster due to its hardness. Meanwhile, Alessander was carrying Porta and going to treat him as well. When Burley saw this, he said, "This isn't good, and I need to buy some time." However, Burley was struck by the monster, causing him to fall to the ground and injuring him. Burley said, "I think its weak point is its face." When he launched an attack, he received a fiery strike from the monster, but Burley evaded that strike, feeling a great heat. He then attacked the monster again, but the monster retaliated by hitting Burley with its tail. Burley blocked the monster's tail with his sword, leading to the monster losing part of its tail, which made it feel extremely angry. The monster hurled another fiery attack at Burley, but he dodged it by moving away, thinking to himself, "I was sure it would get furious." After that, the monster charged at Burley, colliding with him from the front and smashing trees in the forest. Then Burley managed to climb onto the monster, which soared high into the air before landing him on the rocks and then on the ground. Burley dismounted from the monster, and then the monster turned the area into a pool of volcanic lava. Burley climbed to the top of a rock to avoid any harm. The lava reached the cave, and Sark and Nettie were helping Porta move away from the lava as it had reached them. However, the lava surrounded them from all sides and was about to fall on them from above, leading to Nettie screaming. When Burley heard Nettie scream, he told himself he needed to act now and not waste any more time. He charged at the monster, delivering several consecutive strikes, but the monster sustained no injuries. The monster launched numerous fiery strikes at Burley, but he dodged all of them and suddenly attacked the monster, stabbing his sword in its eye, causing the monster pain. The monster then broke Burley's sword, leaving Burley astonished. After that, the monster almost reached Burley, but Alessander swooped down to attack the monster, striking it with her weapon and defeating it after landing on its back. Alessander then thanked Burley for helping them overcome it and apologized for breaking his sword and being late. Burley responded, "Don't worry, but how is Porta?" Alessander assured him that he was fine and would get through it. After that, the 3 warriors exited the cave, and Nettie waved to them to reassure them. Alessander asked Burley if these days reminded him of old times. Burley replied, "Of course. Now, let's move to the guild where Nidos was surprised that they had killed the giant monster." Alessander confirmed it. Megan asked, "Is this the designated target for real?" And it was protected by 3 new recruits. Alessander said, "If our mentor hadn't been with us, we wouldn't have made it." Nidos turned to Burley and asked, "How can we repay you?" Megan remarked, "That's expected from someone who has defeated a black rank bearer." Alessander added, "Winning is inevitable with skills like my mentors." Nidos told Burley, "It could be a legendary adventure." He stopped mid-sentence, and Burley told him, "Thank you, but I don't want any of that." Afterward, Alessander and Burley went outside. Alessander told Burley that Nidos was wrong and that it was impossible for him to be an adventurer. Burley thought to himself that everyone exaggerated his merits. Later, Alessander apologized to Burley for being the cause of all this due to her frequent praise of him. Burley reassured her, "This isn't your fault, Alessander," while thinking that her praise made him feel nervous. Alessander said, "But you were very strong, my mentor, and I'm sincerely grateful to have joined you in such a fateful battle." Burley replied, "I'm the one who should thank you for your wise choices, which saved us." He told her he was happy she had grown in such a wonderful way. Alessander insisted, "But it's all thanks to you." Burley added, "Don't be shy like before. You are no longer a child." Alessander remembered her happy moments with Burley and asked, "Is it possible for us to turn back time again?" Later, Burley went to the city accompanied by Coroni. He thanked her for leading him to the blacksmith and informed her that his sword was no longer sufficient. Coroni replied, "I'm also heading there." Burley thought to himself, even though he was sure Elisha was very busy, is it appropriate for her to come along as well? Elisha approached Burley and told him that choosing a sword was extremely important, and as the leader of the order, she had to go with him. She thought to herself that Alessander had taken the initiative to find accommodation for him, and that Coroni had preceded her in taking him on a tour of the city. This time, she needed to help him, no matter what. Burley asked Coroni, "What will the blacksmith workshop look like that you're taking me to?" Coroni replied, "You'll see when we arrive." Then they moved to the blacksmith workshop, where Coroni welcomed them, and the blacksmith greeted Coroni. Burley recognized the voice and asked, "Is that you, Balder?" This surprised Balder, who exclaimed, "Master Burley?" Burley told Balder he hadn't seen him for a while and that this was his workshop too. Coroni said, "I succeeded in surprising you, Master." Elisha asked Burley, "Do you two know each other? Burly replied that Balder was one of his students and reminisced about past times, telling her that among the students he trained, Balder was older than him and wanted to make good swords. He trained to understand the feeling of using a sword and said, "Isn't that strange?" He returned to the present and said to Balder, "It's nice that you found the workshop you were hoping for." Balder thanked him and asked, "How can I help you?" Coroni said, "I want you to sharpen my short sword." Balder responded, "Okay, show it to me," and Coroni handed her sword to Balder. After inspecting the sword, Balder advised her to buy another one because it was no longer usable. Coroni questioned him, "Why?" Balder replied, "Look at it, it's not just scratched, but it has many cracks and I can't polish it." When Coroni looked at the sword, she agreed. "You're right." Alicia commented to Balder that she treats her sword poorly and doesn't care for it. Burly then said, "All right," and asked Coroni, "What does it feel like to wield a short sword?" Coroni replied, "It's light and nice to hold." Balder and Burly simultaneously said, "That's the solution," and Burly told her that a short weapon was not suitable for her. Balder said to Coroni that if she didn't feel the weight of her weapon, she couldn't use it correctly. Burly added, "If that's the case, the Zafahiter sword, which is used with both hands, might suit you since Coroni is small but strong." He asked Coroni to hold that weapon with both hands and asked her, "How does it feel?" Coroni said, "It's not light on the hands, but it's not too heavy either." Burly told her, "I believe it's the right sword for you." Coroni asked, "Do you really think so?" and decided to buy it, informing Balder of her decision. Balder confirmed this and put it in its sheath for her. Coroni said, "It has a great presence," and asked Balder if he cared for the sheath as usual. Balder replied that every sheath required different care. Burly then said, "Now I'll look for a sword for myself as well." Alicia told Burly that he should be given a special sword. Burly responded, "I don't want to overdo it. I think the swords here are fine." After that, Alessander came looking for Balder and met Burly and Alicia. Alicia said to Alessander that they had met frequently lately. Alessander replied, "It's not like I wanted to meet you on purpose." Alicia said she also didn't think so. Burly then asked Alessander, "Why did you come here?" Alessander explained that she was there to craft a long sword made from the monster's legs they had killed, which surprised everyone. Balder asked, "Is this the leg of the Xenogrebel?" Alessander confirmed it. Balder said, "That's good, but the sword you have is very nice." He then asked her, "Why do you want a long sword?" Alessander replied, "For my mentor," explaining to Burly that her presence with them meant safety for them. Burly told Alessander, "But you were the one who took down the monster. It's not right to say I killed it." Alicia said, "If we're talking about the truth, the order should provide you with a sword, master, and if you want, I can get you one myself." Burly replied, "That's not right either." Alessander asked Burly to accept this sword as a correction for her mistakes. Burly pondered how to handle this. Balder suggested, "If it's important, why not accept it?" Burly told Alessander, "All right, if this is how you feel, I'll accept it." Balder said, "A large sword made from the limb of a giant beast. I'm eager to work on it." Burly told Balder that he didn't want a dazzling sword and just wanted a normal one. Balder reassured him, "Don't worry, I'm not planning something weird," and asked Burly to give him a week to finish it. Burly replied, "Take your time," and added that it was time to leave. Then Coroni approached Burly, and afterward, Burly and Coroni headed to the training hall to train her with her new sword. Burly told Coroni that this sword had two important features. The first was that when she struck with it, she needed to slash sideways, and the second was that she could use the ricasso. Coroni asked, "What's the ricasso?" Burly pointed it out and explained that it was the sharpened section of the blade. Coroni commented that the center of balance changes, making it easier to use. She swung the sword but dropped it on the ground. Burly advised her, "Don't use your arms, wave it from your hips." He demonstrated in front of her, and she copied him. Coroni said, "This is just like in the past." Burly thought to himself, "This is the first thing I taught in the training hall, and now she remembers it." He went to the bar, and purely had some drinks. He told himself that this success wasn't due to his efforts, but because of his dear students. He left the money on the table and went out. While he was on his way home, a girl appeared and almost tried to rob him. However, Purely grabbed her before she could do anything and told her he didn't support such an idea. She replied, "Let me go," and he said, "No, I don't like pickpocketing," but the girl showed him a fire, which made him back off. After that, she ran away quickly. Later, the girl returned home, put the money on the table, and told them it was today's profit. The man sitting at the table said, "Is that all for today? Are you slacking off?" The man with long hair said she couldn't do that because she wanted to earn her daily bread, and he asked her, "Isn't that right, Mew?" After that, Mew looked at her necklace and realized it was missing. Meanwhile, Purely found Mew's necklace and said, "I'm not a fan of fire at all." We move to the training room where the soldiers continued their training. Koroni was also training with her new sword, while Drought was in a training match with Burly. Drought almost won but couldn't manage it, as Burly discovered Drought's trick. After that, Drought thanked Burly, saying, "Thank you for your training." Burly replied, "You've improved a lot, and you almost won, but I caught your trick." Drought said, "Then I need to train harder." They both looked at Koroni and Drought remarked, "I think she has changed since she took the sword in the new position." Burly agreed, saying, "I think this suits her better," and encouraged Koroni, telling her, "Keep it up." She replied, "Understood, sir." Drought said to Burly, "I think she is promising, and it's important for her to improve for her combat strength." Burly asked Drought, "Are you pressed for time?" He replied, "Of course," and informed him about a group of thieves in the city who operate in secret, calling themselves the Dark Twilight. They are helping the royal guard with the investigation, and told him that once they find them, they would move in and eliminate them, so it's better to have a significant force when doing that. Burly said, "It's disgraceful for you to lose, and you need to overcome them with strength to make things safer." Drought replied, "You only need to train. Leave the violence to us." Burly thought to himself, "Of course, I'll leave it to you. I haven't pursued criminals before." After that, Burly showed them the necklace belonging to the thief Mewy and asked, "What is this?" Drought replied, "It's a piece of jewelry." Koroni stepped forward and told Burly, "This necklace is really wonderful." She asked him, "Are you going to give it to someone?" Drought complimented Burly on his taste, saying, "You have great taste, teacher." Koroni added, "But if you're going to give it to the commander, something more mature would be better," which surprised Burly greatly. After that, Burly told Drought and Koroni what happened to him yesterday, explaining that the girl couldn't steal anything from him and panicked when she used magic. Letting go of her hand and flames appeared for a moment. Koroni said, "That's strange, because if she could use magic, why would she need to be a thief?" Drought replied, "I think she is talented, and if she joined the Magic Institute, her future would be secure." Koroni remarked, "Can kids and adults stay at the Magic Institute? I believe she will graduate and become a great adventurer and will easily get a job." Drought said, "It would make sense if she were hiding magical tools." He remembered when Burly was buying magical supplies and told them they were very expensive. Drought said, "They could also be stolen." Koroni asked Burly, "What will you do with this?" He replied, "I will hand it over to the lost and found. If it was stolen, I will try to return it to its owner." Drought said, "Please take it to the reception desk at the system headquarters. They also handle lost items." Burly agreed, "All right, I will do that." Burly moved to the lost and found and handed over the necklace. After leaving, he said, "Finally, I won't have to look for the owner of the necklace or the perpetrator." Burly continued to wander around the city and stopped at some wall advertisements looking for a new place to stay. After that, he saw a girl looking for something. He asked her, "Are you looking for something? Like a necklace, perhaps?" Mewy asked, "Where is it?" And then she attacked him, but Burly blocked her hit and told her, "Don't do that, so you don't attract attention." After that, Mewy stopped attacking him. Burly said, "I did pick up the necklace, but I handed it over to the lost and found," and asked her, "You didn't steal it, right?" She replied, "Of course not." Burly said, "Sorry for my rudeness. I just wanted to make sure." He suggested, "Let's go retrieve it, and trying to prove it's yours is going to be hard, isn't it?" He added, "But it won't take long if I'm with you." They went to the system headquarters. Burly thought to himself, "There were many mischievous kids in the hall, but I haven't seen a girl like this." He asked the girl her name. She answered, "I don't want to talk to an old man like you." After that, Burly looked at her and thought to himself, "I guess she knows right from wrong." Once Burly got the lead, he said to her, "Here it is." Mewy tried to take it, but Burly pulled the necklace away from her hands, saying, "Let me talk more about yourself." She replied, "I don't have anything to tell you." After that, Alicia came and asked, "What's all this noise?" Burly replied, "Good thing you came at this time, Alicia." Alicia asked Burly, "Who is this?" Burly replied, "How do I introduce her to you?" Alicia, angry, said, "Don't say she's your girlfriend, kid." Burly said, "No, she's not." After that, they moved to Alicia's room. Alicia said, "Now I understand everything, but what do you want to do with this girl, Burly?" Mewy said, "You can't do anything unless you catch me red-handed. There's nothing to do." Burly agreed, "What you're saying is true, and I don't plan to turn her in either." Mewy said, "So we're done. Come on, give me my necklace." Burly replied, "If I give it to you, you'll stop stealing." Mewy said, "That's not the issue for me at all." Burly thought to himself, "She's not saying she will stop stealing, and it's clear she's an honest child." Alicia said to Mewy, "Telling the system's commander that you won't stop stealing is very bold." She asked her, "Did you use a tool for magic when you used your magic?" Mewy replied, "No need to tell you that." Alicia suggested, "If you have a gift for magic, the state will take care of you. You can't just sit back and watch a girl throw her promising future away." Burly said to Mewy, "We're not trying to deceive you. If something is happening, tell me." Mewy asked him, "Will you give me back my necklace?" He said, "Of course." Mewy told them, "If I pay 5 million, he told me he would bring my sister back to life." Burly responded, "That's a huge amount." Mewy said, "I don't have enough time or money for all this." Alicia remarked. So, you turned to crime. Burley thought. Someone is deceiving her, but I can't tell her that now. Alicia excused herself for a moment and walked away. After that, Burley asked Mewy, "Aren't you going to eat?" She said, "No, hurry and give me the necklace." But Burley went outside again and returned to her, buying her some food, telling her it was delicious for these sweets. Mewy took the food and started eating. Burley said to Mewy, "I'm glad I met you today. You turned my wallet theft into a thing, but you look really miserable. Who did that?" He told her that an old man like him might not be able to offer her help, but talking is the start, and this city is big. I might not see you again. He added, "Now that Alicia is involved with them, I think things will be okay." He asked her, "Isn't it time for you to tell me your name?" and introduced himself to her. She also told him her name and requested that he not treat her like a child. He agreed and returned the necklace to her, which made Mewy happy. She said to Burley that she would leave now. After that, Alicia arrived with Lucy, and then Lucy approached Miyu. Lucy told Miyu that she knew everything, and if she had a talent for magic, that was great because they didn't have enough sorcerers. Miyu asked Lucy, "Who are you?" Lucy introduced herself to Miyu and said she was the leader of the magic brigade. Miyu told her not to babble too much, saying she was just a child. Lucy replied, "Calm down and just drink your tea." She mentioned that the tea had become cold, and then Lucy used her power to heat the tea, which amazed Miyu. Lucy asked about the girl's name. Pearly told her that her name was Miyu. Lucy told her, "Miyu, you have to join the Magic Institute," and told her that they would take care of her. Miyu told Lucy that she didn't care about any of this, and asked her to stay away, asking, "Will you give me 5 million?" Lucy asked Miyu what she would use it for. Miyu responded that she would give it to a sorcerer to bring her sister back to life. Lucy told her that there was no such thing, and that resurrection magic didn't exist. Miyu insisted that this was not true. Pearly asked Lucy to calm down a bit. Lucy told Miyu that Alicia had informed her that she would soon discover why they were delaying things. Alicia told Pearly that she was sorry for that, but it was necessary for Lucy to take control. Miyu said not to make decisions on her behalf, and told them that her sister would soon live again, claiming she had seen it, and informed them that he had revived her when she died but returned her to death again. She said he would bring her back to life when she paid him 5 million. Lucy said this was a pathetic trick and told her there was no resurrection magic in this world. Miyu replied to Lucy that she didn't believe her. Lucy asked Miyu if she believed someone who forces a child to steal more than a person who spends their entire life studying magic. Lucy asked Miyu for the name of the deceiving sorcerer. Miyu asked why she wanted to know his name. Lucy said it turned out he was a liar, which meant your sister's spirit had been defiled and insulted, and you should not forgive him for that. She told her that she would confront him to see if he was lying or not, and said that if she was the liar and he was telling the truth, she would give her 5 million. She asked her again for his name. Miyu replied that he was Shafak, so Lucy asked Miyu to take her to him. Pearly asked, "Are you going now?" Alicia said if Miyu didn't stay in hiding for a long time, they needed to be cautious, and she agreed it was the right time. Alicia told Lucy that she would go with them. Lucy replied to Alicia that you and the knights stand out too much and told her to take Pearly with her. Pearly approached Lucy and asked if she could handle those thieves alone. He said he wanted to come, didn't he? Pearly said a person who preys on children is something he doesn't like. After that, they went to the thieves' hideout. Lucy told Miyu that if it were her and her sister, she would feel this long time. Miyu asked, "What about it?" And Lucy told her there were many things in her hometown. After they continued walking, Lucy asked Miyu if they had arrived. Miyu said they would turn left, and when they arrived, Pearly said he should have brought his real sword. Lucy replied that she thought this wooden sword would suffice and urged them to hurry. Miyu told them that this door wouldn't open and informed them about a door at the back. Lucy said that would cause a lot of trouble if they did that, then destroyed the door. Lucy advanced toward them, and one of the thieves was about to attack her, but she struck him back, pushing him away. She approached their leader and said to Pearly, "I'll let you handle these weaklings." Then one of the thieves attacked Miyu, but Pearly defended her by striking the thief, which knocked him to the ground. After that, Lucy went to the leader of the thieves, who was Shafak, and asked him, "Are you Shafak?" He replied that he thought the upper floor was noisy, and hadn't realized they had uninvited guests. Lucy said, "So who was denouncing magic and lying about being able to resurrect the dead? That would be you, right?" Shafak replied, "If the leader of the magic brigade didn't like what she heard about me, I assume she came here to tell me this." Lucy asked Shafak if he knew her, but the time for apologies had ended, and Shafak cast a magical blow at Lucy, knocking snow onto her. However, Lucy used her magic and got rid of it immediately, telling Shafak he also had some powerful magic. Shafak replied to Lucy that he had this as well, and used his magic to lift her off the ground with some wooden planks. Lucy said to Shafak, "Now I understand. You used magical attachments to move the corpses and deceive Miyu, right?" Shafak replied that the girl was stupid and it was easy to deceive her. Lucy threw a fireball at Shafak, but he deflected it as well. Then Shafak prepared a ball of fire, and before he could throw it at Lucy, she struck him hard, causing him to fall to the ground. She told him that the child was the one who imagined that its broken toys could overcome the true price. Then they moved to the basement where Pearly continued fighting the remaining thieves, defeating them with just his wooden sword, which greatly amazed Miyu. One of the thieves tried to attack Miyu again, but Pearly struck him down, causing him to lose consciousness too. After that, Lucy approached him and said that it seemed he was finished. Pearly replied, "Of course. And you?" Lucy brought Shafak to them and laid him on the ground before them, telling them he was alive but couldn't move for a while. Lucy asked him if he didn't want to experience that magic again, to tell her the truth, and asked him if resurrection magic existed. He replied, "No," and asked her to let him be, which shocked Miyu and made her feel deeply sad. Lucy said they had done what they came for, and that she wanted to transport these people and needed to go to inform the authorities. She left, and Miyu was looking at the bearer of the dead. Pearly asked Miyu if her sister's body was here. She told him that, of course, but it disappeared, and that was all that remained of her. She understood that her sister wouldn't return, but asked, "What will I do after that?" Pearly thought to himself that he didn't know her well but wanted her to live a happy life too. Miyu also asked Pearly what would happen to her after that. He answered her, "You'll be fine, and I'm sure of it. This is the job of adults." Miyu replied, "But where are the people who told me they would treat me kindly? Everything was for my benefit, but they were exploiting me and my sister." Pearly told her he knew some adults like that, but they weren't all like that. He thought this matter seemed unconvincing. Miyu asked Pearly why he was bothered by all this. He said, "Honestly, I don't know." Miyu told Pearly that at first, he was very angry with that man, and the one who spoke to her in the end. Pearly replied, "Well, his face annoyed me, so I attacked him." After that, Darut and Alicia arrived and thanked Pearly and Lucy. They told them they had carried them in the cart and informed them that Alicia had taken all the magical tools from them for safety and that they would be interrogated tomorrow. She then left. Lucy told Pearly that she would take care of Miyu and left with her. Pearly bid farewell to Miyu. After that, a strange man appeared and struck Shafak, resulting in his death. Then we transitioned to the lair of this evil man, where his boss, the priest, said that Shafak had done everything he requested perfectly. The priest told the wandering man that using the materials, he would redesign the powerful miracle of magic with his own hands. Burly moved to a training hall in the kingdom, and after finishing training, Olshia approached him to tell him what had happened with Shafak. They had been moved to Olshia's office, where they discovered some magical tools. The magic brigade was investigating the matter, and had moved the stolen items to another location. However, no one, including Shafak, knew where that place was, making it impossible for them to find the items. Shafak had many magical tools that made him very powerful, and they had been used by someone else behind the scenes. Next, we moved to Beldar's workshop, and Burly received his new sword, which they were all fascinated with. They headed to the hall to try it out, but Lucy was waiting for Burly. She asked him to accompany her to her house to talk. Once they entered, they were greeted by Priest Ibori, a priest from the Church of Sven, and they were neighbors on the map because he was from the country of Svenidriardvania. She informed him that the magical tools Shafak possessed came from that country, and that Bishop Rivius was the one who provided Shafak with these tools in exchange for gathering corpses. Shafak had been killed with a magical tool to ensure he wouldn't talk in the investigations and reveal anything about the bishop. Rivius was gathering the corpses to use them in dark magic, which involved raising the dead, but achieving this was very difficult. Additionally, it wouldn't be easy to capture him since he was in the Church of Sven in the northern district, yet he was now in their area. He had been summoned to testify, but if he escaped before doing so, they wouldn't be able to catch him afterwards. If any evidence appeared against him in the investigations, he needed to be apprehended, which could lead to an international war between the Magic Brigade and the Church of Sven. None of the priests could control the bishop because of his high rank. Burly could easily move around and apprehend him, and everything was ready for him to do so. The bishop had to be punished if he committed all these crimes, and they should retrieve every corpse he had kidnapped, including the body of Miyu's sister, as she had been very saddened by it and became alone. Burly agreed to proceed with this, and for his agreement, he would receive a reward from the priest and Lucy as well. When he left the house, he ran into Miyu, who had come to the house to buy some things she needed. She was still being treated well, which surprised her, and she wondered why they were treating her so nicely. However, this was the way adults treated each other, which made her angry, as she had previously stolen from Burly, who was giving her a lot of money. She had also joined Lucy's private magic school, and they cared for her, but it all felt like too much for her. Burly explained to her that she was a child and should be treated like one. He knew she hadn't experienced this kind of treatment before, and had been treated harshly by Shafak. However, Miyu didn't want to be treated as a child, and she felt that none of the adults were trying to deceive her or exploit her like it had happened before. She felt this wasn't suitable for her because she hadn't done anything good for them. Burly clarified that she should have a bright future, but it wasn't easy for Miyu to believe Burley due to her past life. Burley then went on to say goodbye to Miyu before leaving. He moved to the location of the bishop, who was escaping. When he entered, he tried to restrain him so he could testify in the investigation, but he was obstructed by the bishop's guards. They used their enhancement powers to attack Burley, surrounding him from all sides. It was his first time using this sword, and it seemed very sharp, as he managed to defeat one of the guards with a single strike. He hadn't had a real duel in a while, but the guards attacked him all at once. Suddenly, Fizz and Coroni appeared and started defending him, pushing the guards back and dueling with them as well. They were just passing by this place when Fizz used her magic to eliminate the guards, and Coroni used her power too. Burley managed to take down one of the guards, but after their magic powers drained, they were surprised. However, some guards approached them again, and Burley chose to leave the guards to Coroni and Fizz to fight while he went to catch the bishop and stop his escape. When Burley got closer to the bishop and his personal guard, Spur, the bishop cast a spell. This spell contained a part of the bishop's magic he had acquired, which was raising the dead. Suddenly, the dead emerged from their coffins and surrounded Burley, including Miyu's sister, whom he recognized by her special necklace. The bishop and Spur took off, and after the dead attacked Burley, he had to strike back since he had no other choice. While he was on the verge of escaping, one of the undead grabbed him, but Burley decapitated it, leading him to realize that this method would help him get rid of the undead. He proceeded to behead all the undead except for Miyu's sister, who was approaching him to kill him too, but he hugged her first and then decapitated her, which caused him deep sorrow, and he cried. Then Spur came to Burley, getting ready to fight him. He cast a spell on himself and charged at Burley with all his strength, landing several strong blows that injured Burley's arm. It turned out Spur was very strong and more skilled than Drut and Siandra. However, someone like him had to be caught because he was toying with other people's lives. Burley counterattacked Spur, avoided his strike, and managed to injure Spur in the arm as well. However, Spur stabbed himself with a cursed dagger, enhancing his power and healing his wound. He then attacked Burley, dealing multiple wounds to him, but Burley didn't give up, feeling angry because he couldn't afford to lose this battle. When Spur charged at him again, Burley was fully prepared and dodged Spur's strikes, countering with 2 consecutive hits that knocked Spur to the ground. But Spur got up again and attacked Burley. Suddenly, a strange thing happened. Blood began to pour from every inch of Spur's body. His eyes turned red, and blood also streamed from his eyes. He kept slowly advancing toward Burley to attack him. Even though he was unable to fight, he did all this just to succeed in the magic the bishop wanted. When he lifted his sword to fight, he couldn't lower it and it fell to the ground. Then Spur dropped dead. He tried to stand again but couldn't and fell down, dead. Burley then went to search for the bishop but found Coroni and Fizz, apprehending the bishop and binding him. When the bishop learned that Spur had died, he didn't mourn, believing that bodies shouldn't be tampered with so that their relatives could mourn them properly. The bishop thought that what he was doing was right and that the magic of the dead was what would save the world, and it was possible for the world to be destroyed if the Church of Sven didn't gain its power through the magic of the dead. This magic was more important than anything else and was their mission in life. We then moved to Lucy's house, where Burley felt sad because he hadn't been able to help Miyu. But Lucy offered Burley a reward, a house for him instead of living in an inn. Burley was actually looking for a home. When he entered the house, he saw Miyu cleaning it and learned that she would be joining the private school for the Magic Brigade, but would live with Burley in the same house, since she needed a guardian to accept her in the school, and Burley would be her guardian on paper. This was the reason they would live together in this house, and if Miyu didn't agree, she could also live in Lucy's house if she wanted. Miyu then agreed to live in Burley's house after realizing that he had done a lot for her and that he was one of the good adults. She then chose a room and went into it, making Burley feel happy. We moved to Burley's new house, which had a small garden with running water and a bathroom. It was thanks to Lucy's refined taste that the place looked so nice. Burley prepared breakfast himself, though he still wasn't used to it, since it had only been 5 days since he moved in. After finishing the meal and setting it on the table, Moi came over and sat down to eat. Mui started eating, but Burley apologized for making her wait and asked if the daily menu was alright. Mui didn't seem to care about the question, she just said anything that doesn't harm the body is fine. Burley then said he'd go and do the laundry, but Mui protested, insisting she'd do it herself. Moi then asked Burley if she could use the bathroom, and he had no objection after all. The house was hers as much as his. He asked her not to act so formally with him and to do whatever she wanted. After that, Burley and Moi went to the market and bought some sweets. Burley, wanting to lighten the mood with her, asked how she liked the sweets. She gave a normal answer. Next, They went to the theater to see a play. Mui agreed to go in since she had never seen a play before. After sunset, the play ended and they left the theater. Burley asked again for her opinion on the play. She told him it was good, though he really just wanted to spark a conversation to get closer to her. Then they went to the Magic Institute. They entered, both very impressed, and while on their way to register Mui, a teacher named Kinera approached them and introduced herself, asking if they needed help. Burley gladly accepted since the place was huge and they didn't know where to go for registration or the staff room. Mei thanked Kinera, though she looked uneasy, but Kinera reassured her and walked them towards the staff room. Inside, Kinera asked who told them about the institute. Burley explained that Lucy, the leader here, recommended them. Kinera was amazed to hear that Lucy had invited them personally. While walking through the corridors, two young mages greeted Kinera, and Burley noticed everyone here was polite. Those children could someday become top mages, so good manners are part of their education. Burley wondered to himself if Mui could adapt in this place. They moved on to Kinera's office, where she explained that since Lucy had invited them, there was no need for an entrance exam. Kinera asked Mui about her preferred specialty. Mui listed a lot of different fields, mentioning that most mages had strengths and weaknesses, but Mui had the special ability to create fire. So Kinera picked offensive magic for her, saying it suited her, and explained the basics since they were unfamiliar with magic, telling them about the 5 systems and that fire generation belonged to offensive magic. She also asked Mui if she wanted to stay in the dorms, where students from the countryside and neighboring areas live. They went and visited the dormitory. The place was empty since the students were in class, which amazed Mui because of how big and clean it was. Kinera showed them around the whole place. There was a swimming pool, which made Mui very happy, as well as a dining room, which left her even more impressed, and a bedroom to sleep in. Both Mui and Burley were thoroughly amazed. Afterward, they went to have lunch before heading home. While they were walking, Burley considered moving Mui into the dorms, but was hesitant about whether she'd adapt to the other students, thinking it might be better for her to stay with him a bit longer. Burley asked Mui what she wanted to eat, but as usual she just wanted anything. He pointed out a restaurant that served sausages, asked her opinion, and she agreed. When they went inside, it was crowded, so Burley suggested going somewhere else. At that moment, Alessandra was at the restaurant. She signaled to Burley to join her table, and he agreed. Mui joined as well. After sitting, Burley thanked Alessandra for arranging his new sword. It was because of her that he got it. Alessandra replied this was just as it should be, since he deserved it. Then she asked about Mui. Burley wasn't sure how to start, but eventually introduced Mui and told her name. Alessandra then introduced herself to Mui and mentioned her long history with Burley. When Alessandra realized that Burley was Mui's guardian, she almost choked while drinking, since it was a shock to her. Alessandra apologized and said it wasn't her place to intervene. The food was served and Burley started eating, telling Mui to eat too. Burley asked Alessandra how work was going lately. She mentioned that there were a lot of monster hunting missions near the capital at this time of year. Burley figured it was because of the monster season, but learned it was also due to an upcoming delegation visiting the village, so the guild was clearing monsters to improve safety during the visit. Burley was surprised to hear this, since he didn't know it was an annual allies meeting, and that the guild was asked to hunt monsters throughout the area to ensure safety. This made Burley reflect that even adventurers have strong ties to their homelands, right? When they finished, they left the restaurant, and Burley asked Mui to go home since he needed to check the system. He then asked Alessandra to motivate Mui about going to the Magic Institute, but the advice Alessandra gave Mui wasn't encouraging at all. She nearly scared Mui instead. Alessandra told her that since Burley was her guardian, she'd better win any battle she entered. When Mui said she knew that man was strong, Alessandra got mad at her, but Burley calmed Alessandra down. Alessandra apologized to Mui and told her that Burley was a great man, but Burley just thought of himself as an ordinary old man with nothing special. Alessandra then said her goodbyes as Mui left. Alessandra was impressed by Mui and sensed that, despite her bad manners, she was genuine and would be someone important someday. Next, we moved to the training hall, where Burley was talking with Alicia after she heard that Mei had enrolled in the Magic Institute. He was discussing with her whether he should move Mui to the institute or keep her living with him, which surprised Alicia, as she didn't know Mui lived with him in the same house. Burley clarified that he was only Mui's guardian, and that he lived in Lucy's house, which she had given to him. Then Coroni joined, saying that the dorm was the best choice for Mui, since it would save time on commuting and meals were provided. Vis said the dorm was a lifesaver for her too. However, Burley was worried about how well Mui would adjust to the other students. Doro chimed in and told Burley that everyone needs to go through new experiences, while Alessia gave her own view that if Mui had joined the Magic Institute, she should stay in the dorms too. So Burley went to ask Lucy's opinion. Lucy replied that the dorms were the best solution, and jokingly asked Burley if he really came all this way just to ask about that. Then Vis came in and handed Lucy some reports, sports. Lucy asked Vis about her experience with the dorms during her own studies at the institute, and Vis said it was great and saw no reason not to live there. Lucy explained that the question was about the talented girl Mui she had mentioned before. Vis remembered and said she might even end up teaching her someday. Lucy wanted Vis to teach at the institute since there was a shortage of talented people there, which impressed Burley. Seeing how capable Vis was, Burley started thinking again, but then Lucy tried to discuss the matter further with him, yet he left them suddenly, surprising everyone. Vis asked if there was something wrong with Burley, but Lucy, knowing Burley, said he often worried about things that weren't really worth worrying about. Burley then went to the river bridge and started reminiscing about his memories with Mui. At the same time, he thought about what he wanted to do and realized he considered himself like the father she never had. Her comment about being happy living with him meant a lot to him, but she was also drawn to living in the institute dorms. Still, he knew he couldn't force her to do anything. Then Pearly went back home, and Mui asked him to look at this place because there was a loud noise coming from it. When Pearly tried to listen, he told her the sound was coming from the back. He moved the drawer unit and found a big hole behind it, and a group of rats came out of it. Right away, Pearly opened all the windows and also the front door to get them out of the house. But Mui wasn't scared and told him they were just rats. But Pearly was very afraid and wanted to get them out because their bites can cause diseases. Pearly attacked the rats, trying to catch them or drive them out of the house. He managed to get one of them out, and almost got the rest out too, but they ran back inside, making Pearly even angrier. He decided he would definitely catch them because they didn't want to leave. He took off his jacket and chased them again. After several tries, he dropped the table on them, and that helped him catch one of the rats, which he threw outside while it was stuck inside his jacket. The other rat ran to the bathroom, and Pearly chased after it, trying to catch it several times since it was the last one and he didn't want to let it go. But it was hard to catch, and the rat tried to escape by jumping onto Pearly's arm and managed to do it. Mui shot at it, which let Pearly catch it successfully. Pearly was surprised by Mui's help. While Pearly was holding the rat, it bit him, so he threw it out the window. Then Pearly put a rat repellent ball in the hole and put the drawer unit back in place, then left it to go prepare food for them. While he was making the food, he thought to himself that Mui helped him catch the rat even though she said they were just rats and not to worry. Then Mui came to him, and Pearly thought she was hungry, but she actually wanted to help him prepare the food. Pearly was happy about this and asked her to peel the radishes. After they finished preparing the food, they put it on the table and started eating. The food was ready early because she helped him, but Mui also wanted to improve her cooking skills. Pearly told her she didn't have to cook because food is provided at the dorms in the institute, but Mui told him she wouldn't stay at the institute dorms and would come from home every day. Pearly had a different opinion, thinking the dorms are good, would save her time, and offer good meals, and she would live with kids her own age, but Mui insisted on coming from home. Since Pearly feeds her, she wanted to help him around the house and asked him what he wanted her to do because she could be helpful. She said if he noticed rats while she wasn't around, the house could be destroyed in the end. She told him not to ask her about what kind of food she wants. Then Pearly told her he would make this food every day, smiling as he said it, which annoyed Mui, and she asked him to stop smiling like that. We moved to the training ground, and after Burley finished training, Olacia told him she wanted to talk to him about something very important that could possibly change his future, which drew everyone's attention to her. Then she told him he needed to go with her so she could buy him new clothes, which surprised Burley and everyone else. But clothes would be purchased for visiting a new delegation from Svinidriardvania to their city. Burley already knew about this through Alexander, and this visit was because monster hunting requests had increased, which surprised and angered Olacia, because Alexander knew about this matter and had told Burley before she could tell him herself. Then Olacia continued explaining to him that the system requested protection for VIPs during the delegation's presence, but Burley asked if among these VIPs were leaders from the Church of Seven. But Drought told him they wouldn't be present and that the people coming to them were members of the royal family. Olacia asked Burley if she could arrange a meeting for him with the royal family in both countries. Coroni and Drought really liked this idea because through this, the teacher's name would be spread both outside and inside the country. Burley thought they were doing more than necessary for him. Olacia knew the teacher didn't want to be the center of attention, but he should remember his position as a special trainer and take the royal approval seal. Burley immediately agreed, and Drought felt great honor when Burley would help them this year too. Coroni told the teacher they do this every year and that it's not difficult at all. But Olacia returned to the main topic. If Burley was going to meet the royal family, they needed to buy him new and appropriate clothes for this occasion. Burley was convinced by this and told himself it was time to shop for new clothes and that he shouldn't wear his regular clothes. Then he told Alesha he would go when he had time, but Alesha refused this because he wasn't well acquainted with clothing stores. She told him she knew a reputable place for selling clothes. Then Burley agreed to let Alesha handle the matter, and she went to finish some work she had. Burley felt happy that Alesha cared about an old man like him, but Coroni thought Alesha was being very bold, and Drought thought she was interested in Burley's affairs because he was her former teacher. Coroni wondered if that was all there was to it. Then we moved to Burley's house, where Miyui told him someone had sent this box to him. When he opened it, they found clothes and a letter inside. He thought it was from Ivory, and also for Miyui, but Miyui objected to the style of the clothes. However, there were many, and Burley asked her to choose what she wanted. Then they had dinner, and while they were eating, Burley told her he was going tomorrow to buy some clothes with Alesha, and asked if she wanted to come with him. But Miyui refused, and Burley tried again by saying Alesha likes children, but Miyui insisted on refusing. Burley wondered to himself about Miyui's annoyance, and that it was difficult to understand a girl her age. Then we moved to Burley waiting for Alesha, and being amazed by her clothes because it was the first time he had seen her in clothes other than knight's attire, which made Alesha feel embarrassed. He told her it suited her very well. Then they went, while Drought and Coroni were watching them. Coroni wanted to know which store Alesha would go to, so they followed them. Then they went to the store and entered. Burley thought he wanted another store because this one was expensive. There were beautiful outfits that Burley admired, but he didn't trust his taste and thought it was better to leave it to Alesha. Then Alesha took Burley's opinion on a piece of clothing that she thought was very wonderful, which amazed Burley because it had decorative parts. But the seller intervened and expressed his admiration for Alesha's taste, but she didn't lean toward Burley's taste. He imagined himself and thought it didn't suit him, so he asked Alesha to look for something else. He thought to himself that leaving the matter to Alesha had become dangerous, and if he didn't take initiative, it would end with buying very expensive clothes. Then a piece of clothing caught Burley's attention, and he thought it suited him well. Alesha asked the seller to hold this outfit for her currently. Then they left to check another store while Drought and Coroni were watching them. Alesha asked the teacher if he hadn't had lunch yet, and the teacher asked her if she wanted to have lunch before they went to the other store, which made Alesha feel happy. Coroni thought the spark had started between them. Then they went to the restaurant, and Burley was happy to be in such a good place, and that he had never come to a place like this before. Then the waiter brought them food, and the food looked very wonderful to Burley. He thought it was unfortunate that it would be eaten, but Alesha asked him to eat the food before it got cold. Alesha achieved her goals of shopping and having lunch, making it become a real date. Burley asked Alesha if something had happened, but she didn't tell him anything, and asked him about tasting the food. On the other side, Coroni and Drought continued following them. Coroni thought Alesha was very happy, and that Drought had never seen her like this before. Coroni wondered if this was called a romantic date, but Drought thought he was also on a romantic date with Coroni if that's what happened. After they finished eating and walked together on their way to their homes after buying the first piece that Burley chose from the first store they went to, Alesha didn't object to this since Burley liked the clothes and that was the most important thing to her. Then Alesha remembered when she was his student, and he protected her and apologized to her by bringing her some sweets. She returned to the present and told him they hadn't had anything on this day, and that she finally did it, but Burley was surprised by this talk. Then Alesha told him not to worry. Then Burley told her he was leaving, and thanked her for this beautiful day, and she also thanked him while being very happy. While Coroni and Drought were watching them, Coroni saw that Alesha continued looking at Burley as he left. Then Drought approached Alesha and asked her to forgive him because he had been spying on her all this time, but nothing mattered to Alesha and there was nothing to embarrass her. Then Drought asked Alesha what Burley meant to her. Then we moved to the training ground, where everyone was training except Drought. Then Coroni came to him and apologized because she ran away yesterday and left him alone, but Drought didn't tell Alesha that she was spying with him on them. But Coroni felt bad because she was the one who invited him, but this was normal for Drought. Then Alesha entered the training hall and greeted them, but Coroni quickly went to train when she saw Alesha. Alesha was surprised by this, but Drought thought she needed a large space to train waving because her sword was very long. Then Drought remembered Alesha's answer to his question. Alesha had answered that she just wanted to make her teacher happy, nothing more, and left him and went away. Then he returned to the present and was surprised by the news that he would leave the hall because Alesha wanted it for a while because she would challenge Burley to a match, which greatly amazed Drought. But Alesha clarified the matter to Drought that no one doubted Burley's skills, but she thought this match would establish the matter before meeting the royal family. Drought thought that whether Burley won or lost against Alesha, his endurance against her while she did her best would prove he was more than qualified to be a trainer. He asked her if this was the only reason for her desire to face him, but if Alesha won against him, she would share one of her wishes with him, which surprised Drought. Then Alacia went to prepare. Then Coroni approached Drought and asked him what they were talking about. When Coroni learned, she felt extremely fascinated. Then Burly came to them, and Alacia approached him. But Burly was surprised by Alacia's presence at this time and asked if she came to train, but she told him she was here to duel him, which surprised Burly. She would do this because of the approaching arrival of the delegation, and that she needed to train her sword. But Burly thought training strikes wouldn't serve the purpose, but he would do this with her. Then they prepared for the duel. People called Alacia lightning fast. Then she attacked him with terrible speed, but Burly succeeded in blocking her attack. Alacia used to end all matches this way, but Burly stood firm against her. Then Alacia directed several strikes at Burly, but didn't hit Burly at all. But Burly couldn't continue blocking her strikes forever, and attacked her. Then Alacia also attacked him after Burly's attack on her failed, and she directed several strikes at him that caused a minor wound on Burly's face and also on his body. The sword almost fell from Burly's hand, and Alacia was about to attack him, but she stopped and told him she was happy because he was showing her the skills she had acquired after leaving him, and this was very amazing to Burly. Coroni wondered who would win, but Drought saw that Alacia was ahead and Burly was holding firm. Coroni thought since Alacia admired Burly, it would be wonderful if they got together, but seeing them like this made her think Burly wanted to keep the situation as it was. Then Burly began focusing more on her movements and almost hit her, but he failed too. But Alacia attacked Burly and almost hit him, but Burly knocked her to the ground and succeeded in gaining a point for himself. Coroni asked if this was legal, but Drought thought anything was allowed in battle, and there was only one person in the world who could do this move except the commander. Then Burly gave Alacia some advice. He told her she didn't often accept people who fought fairly, but he was really impressed with her skills. She thanked him for the advice. Then Burly left to have lunch. Coroni and Drought then approached Alacia. Coroni felt her heart racing, but she couldn't reach that skill level. She asked Alacia if she'd tell him she loved him, if she won against him. But Alacia clarified things for Coroni, explaining that if she had won, she would have asked him to buy her new clothes, just like he bought some for himself. Coroni finally understood what was going on and realized shopping with Burly was fun. She apologized to Alacia for misunderstanding, and then went to get something to eat too. Then Drought asked Alacia again, which surprised her because of all his questions. He asked her if she would tell the master her feelings if she won. But Alacia wanted her master to be happy, and it would be great if she was the one who made him happy, but it didn't have to be her. But Drought didn't get it. During that match, he forgot who he was hoping would win, and didn't know why he felt that way. She felt the same thing too. Then we cut to Burly's home, where he was eating with Mewy. Burly told her what happened today, and Mewy thought Alacia wanted him to notice her and focus on her. Burly, however, found this pretty funny. Mewy then explained that Alacia had invited him to go clothes shopping and told him that the girl had a crush on him, but Burly cut Mewy off, saying she was his student and there was a huge age gap. Mewy thought Burly was just making really flimsy excuses. Burly prepared dinner for Mewy, and he was really enjoying the drink. Mewy was surprised by how much he was enjoying it, but the reason was that it was a refreshing drink. However, the one served in the tavern is much tastier because it's ice cold. Mewy pointed out that there was a crack in the cup, and Burly knew because he dropped it when he was washing it, but that it wasn't important at all and that he could drink from it anyway. Burly asked Mewy what she had taken from the institute. Then Mewy showed him the uniform she received from the institute, as well as some borrowed textbooks that she would return when she was finished with them and that she shouldn't get dirty. Then Burly remembered that the students there have a school bag, and he hadn't seen one with Mewy, and he asked her if she hadn't received one yet. But Mewy hadn't received one and thought they didn't provide them, and she didn't see any problem with her bag and that it fits everything. But Burly wasn't happy about this and insisted that he should buy Mewy a bag before her studies begin. Mewy didn't think he should. Then we moved to Alisander's office. She was informed by Megan about a monster that had been trapped inside the forest near the capital, and that whoever did it were classified as platinums. Nidus thought they hadn't taken any decisive action and needed help, but Alisander didn't know if going there would help in any way. Then one of the guards came to them and told Alisander that she had a visitor. Then we moved to Burly when he went to the bag store to buy a bag for Mewy for the institute. Then the guard approached him and asked him what he was looking for, and Burly told him that he wanted a school bag. The guard thought that if someone was asking for bags at this time, then the student was going to the Magic Institute, and he recommended a group of good bags for the Magic Institute. Burly liked one of them, and when the seller told Burly the price of the bag, Burly was shocked by its exorbitant price. When the seller noticed Burly's shock, he recommended less expensive bags, then tried to convince him that they were really good, and that their quality was very high, and that his daughter would use them for years. Then Burly moved to the bridge and thought about which bag he should buy. He couldn't make the right decision yet, and he started talking to himself and started thinking that he should spend without hesitation. Then he went back and met Alisander and saw that she was very serious. and he asked her if there was a problem. Alessander was thinking about dealing with a mission that had been offered to her, and Burleigh thought it was very difficult because it was an adventure. Then Alessander told Burleigh that she hadn't been selfish in a day and asked for his help, because if that happened, she would definitely succeed in her mission. But Burleigh didn't think he would be of any use to her at all because she had told him that it was a difficult mission, but Alessander offered him that he would get a reward. Then Burleigh asked her to learn more about the mission. Then they headed to the mission, and Burleigh made sure that the mission was to catch a live horse, wasn't it? Alessander confirmed this to him because this horse will be presented to the royal family on their upcoming visit. Burleigh wondered if Alessander had been hired by someone in the royal family. Alessander confirmed this as well, and that she had obtained permission from the system to borrow it as a precaution, and even the mischievous Alicia gave her approval. But in reality, she is helping Burleigh because he has a lot of things that he wants, and he was also looking for a job. Alessander felt that the time was right for him, which made her happy. Then Alessander moved to the guards who were besieging the horse, and they told her that it was already inside the forest. Then Alessander asked them to besiege the perimeter of the place and leave the forest to her and Burleigh. Then she provided Burleigh with some things that would help him catch the horse. Then they packed their luggage and moved forward. Then they entered the forest and explored the traps present for the horse, but they didn't find the horse in one of them. Then Alessander found a trace of him, and they headed behind him. Then they reached a river and found hoof marks. Then Alessander showed the map and discovered the presence of another river close to their location and suggested setting a trap for him there. But Burleigh thought that this horse was too smart to avoid all these traps that he had passed through, and believed that he would not return to a place where he had left a trace, which made Alessander more certain that he would appear in the direction of the other river. Burleigh thought that this was true because horses drink a lot of water. Then they moved to the location of the other river. Alessander wondered if Burleigh was living well with Miwi, but Burleigh finds it difficult to understand girls her age and that he is better than before. But Alessander thought that the matter would be good because he had dealt with children her age a lot, but Burleigh had never been their guardian before, and this is something different for him. Alessander remembered that she had lived with him, and he treated her like one of his family, but Alessander was younger than her age at the time, and Burleigh's parents were with him as well. But Alessander thought that things would go well because Miwi has good aspects. Then they reached the other river, and Alessander told Burleigh her plan, that she would be behind him, and Burleigh would be in front of him, and Alessander would throw the arrow at him, and that she would attack from behind because horses are afraid of this. And when he moves forward, Burleigh will throw the net. Burleigh wondered if the arrows could be dangerous to the horse, but Alessander was putting cloth on the heads of the arrows and asked him to split up now, and they began to hide until the horse appeared. Then the horse appeared drinking from the river. Then Alessander aimed an arrow at him, which made him run forward in Burleigh's direction. Burleigh prepared for him with the net, but the horse jumped over him, which surprised Burleigh. Then Alessander asked Burleigh to cut off the horse's path again, and Burleigh did so. After Alessander threw another arrow at the horse, and Burleigh threw the net at the horse, but the horse avoided the net and ran again. But Burleigh did not give up, and caught the horse and tried to ride on it, but he fell to the ground. Alessander tried to throw the rope at the horse, but the horse avoided the rope and ran again. Then they followed the horse to the top of the day, and Alessander advanced to cut off the horse's path from the front and showed him her weapons, which led to the horse turning around and running in the other direction. But he jumped high and moved to a rock far away from them so that they could not reach him. But the rock on which the horse was standing was destroyed and fell to the ground with the horse. Burleigh jumped high to save the horse as well, and became with him on the same rock. But nothing happened to them, which angered the horse. But Burleigh tried to calm him down and told him that he hadn't done anything to him here. Burleigh began to ask himself how he would climb this, and that it was difficult for him to do so, and that if he crossed this, he would drift. Then Burleigh showed his sword and cut down the tree, and made a passage for them to go through to the other shore. Burleigh almost fell from the top of the passage, but he was rescued by the horse. Burleigh was even more impressed by the horse. When they reached the other shore, Alessander came to them. Burleigh wondered how she got here, but Alessander cut her way from the riverbed, and she ran a lot and quickly, and that's what makes her pant. Then she told him that it was good that he was fine and thought that he had tamed the horse as well, but Burleigh thought he was tired of running. Then we moved to Nidus. Nidus thanked Burleigh a lot for saving the guild's reputation again, because royal requests can lead to the success or failure of the Adventurers Guild's reputation. Then Alessander presented a sum of money as a reward to Burleigh. Then Nidus received the horse and left. Alessander said that today was great with him, but that she felt jealous of Miwi, but now she intends to encourage her because she is honest and considerate of others, and told him that perhaps something good awaits him when he returns home, which surprised Burley. Then he said goodbye to her to leave. Then Burley moved to his house after buying Miwi's bag. Then Miwi came from outside and Miwi was surprised when she saw the bag. Burley told her that it was for her institute and Miwi felt great happiness for it and couldn't believe that she could get one of them. Then Miwi tried it on and it was very suitable for her. Then she thanked Burley, but Burley wanted to buy it for her and wished her to benefit from it a lot. Then Miwi asked him what he had bought as well. Then she showed him that she had bought him a new cup for him and told him that she hadn't stolen it and worked hard to buy it. Burley remembered Alisander's words when she told him about that, and that Miwi turned to Alisander because she knows a lot of jobs and helped her get a job washing dishes, and that she bought him this cup because his cup had a crack in and asked him to try it. Burley drank from it and was surprised that the taste was very different. Miwi saw that drinking from a ceramic cup is better than wood and thought that he enjoyed his drink a lot, so she bought it for him as a reward. Then Burley asked her again that she got a job to buy this cup for him, but Miwi saw that when she went to the Magic Institute, she couldn't do anything at home, and that the housework would pile up on Burley, and that drinking in this cup might relieve him of some of the fatigue. Then Burley drank again and was very happy. Then we moved to the place where the students moved to the Magic Institute. Burley took Miwi there, and that he did that so that he could say goodbye to her on his way to work as well. Then the carriage came, and Miwi rode and Burley said goodbye to her. Then we moved to Burley's training hall. Coroni came to Burley and saw that he was happy today because for Burley this is a historic day. Then Elisha came to them as well and told Burley about the arrival of the leader and deputy of the Seven Church, and that they want to greet their counterparts here, and that Elisha and Drought will attend this, and asked him if he wanted to join them. But Burley thought and said to himself that he had no idea how to solve their problem with Rivius, and remembered what happened to him, and that he could not be sure that they were not hiding something in their sleeves, and that it was better to search himself and see what was happening. Then he told Elisha that he would go with them. Then Burley moved to Elisha's office. Drought was waiting for him, as well as the leader and deputy of the Seven Church. When Burley entered them, he was surprised by the presence of an old student of his named Rose as well. Then Rose approached him and greeted him, which angered Elisha a lot about this.